The rules of the game have changed. In this moment, we are witnessing a shift in the American dream. In the generations of our parents and grandparents, a successful career was defined by job security, a reliable salary, and a strong benefits package. However, today, more and more people are having conversations about escaping the 9-to-5. Not because they don't want to work, but because these individuals want to construct their own jobs in which they can not only showcase their creativity, but also be their own boss. When we look at the meteoric rise of social media influencers who start as young as age 5, or the influx of young people learning to make additional income by trading in the stock market, it's easy to see that this generation is redefining the term career. If you're like me, you may even express your creativity by starting a company. Hundreds of thousands of people around the world are pursuing a greater degree of freedom, creativity, and influence over their work. I want to illustrate how you can be a part of the movement. Unfortunately, because the promise of a career with more creative freedom is so enticing, online platforms have become saturated with an overwhelming number of people doing the same things. You know exactly what I mean. Now, as you go to start your YouTube channel, you find it nearly impossible to differentiate yourself from thousands of similar channels. You start your clothing line, but it seems like every time you open social media, you're seeing dozens and dozens of ads for similar brands. You start your photography business, but it seems like every potential customer has already booked with someone else. So the challenge becomes, if we want to stand out in an era that's driven by creativity, how do we make creations that captivate? How do we become rock stars? Now, when I use the term rock star, I don't necessarily mean a famous musician. Reed Hastings, one of the founders of Netflix, describes a rock star as somebody who is 10 to 20 times better than the average person in a creative field. Rock stars are the YouTubers and the TikTokers that everyone wants to watch. Rock stars are the designers behind the brands that everyone wants to wear. Rock stars make the choice to stand out when everyone else makes the choice to stick to the status quo. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first person to admit that standing out in a creative field isn't easy by any means. But if you want your vision to reach people, if you want your ideas to impact the lives of others, then you cannot afford to get lost in the crowd. That's why I want to give you my 4-step blueprint to becoming a rock star. Step 1 in becoming a rock star is to hone your craft. One of the founders of Pixar, Ed Catmull, describes the differences between craft and art, where craft is a collection of skills that a person needs to do their job well. A musician learning scales or an accountant learning Excel formulas are both examples of craft. However, Catmull asserts that art appears only when we use our craft to create something unexpected. Let me give you a few examples. Craft is a writer, understanding how to structure their story with an exposition, a climax, and a resolution. But art is Shonda Rhimes leveraging that structure to create the captivating show Bridgerton, which made millions of views as it broke streaming records for Netflix. Craft is a software engineer, understanding how to write logical code and test for errors. But art is Mark Zuckerberg using that knowledge to create Facebook, the largest social network in the world. As a recent college graduate, I can sympathize with those of you who roll your eyes at the thought of homework assignments, projects, or exams. I was the exact same way. However, after graduating, I can clearly see that the fundamentals that I learned in school became the building blocks for me to start my tech company, Grapevine. How could I program a fully functional application if I never sat through programming fundamentals? How could I debug problems on the platform if I couldn't debug problems in my college projects? Now, I'm not saying that your fundamentals have to come through college courses, but as you continue to hone your craft, you'll be able to use your creativity to its fullest and turn your ideas into a reality. Step 2 in becoming a rock star is to lean into your uniqueness. One of the most common mistakes that people make when starting a new creative endeavor is sticking too closely to what other people are doing. But think about it. How do you expect to stand out when you're using the same Canva templates, the same Wix websites, or the same video ideas as everyone else? The mission of my tech company, Grapevine, involves helping college students from all walks of life feel like they belong on their campus. That mission and the ideas surrounding the app came directly as a result of the feelings and experiences that I had while I was in college. In a similar way, I want you to let your story influence your art. If you are a first-generation engineering major who happens to love fiction, write about an engineer finding their way through college. If you're an advertising major who happens to love to cook, create content that helps chefs market their food in more engaging ways. Rock stars understand that if they want to put a picture of their future on a canvas, they cannot use someone else's passion as the paint. Painting with someone else's passion doesn't look right to the audience, and it will not feel right to you. Rock stars understand that when they combine their unique passion with their unique purpose, they can create masterpieces that could come from no one but themselves. Aside from external factors, we often hold internal beliefs that can prevent us from standing out the way that we want to. The third step in becoming a rock star is overcoming the fear of rejection. What if I create a YouTube video and nobody watches it? What if I spend my time making a whole line of outfits, but nobody wants to wear them? You see, the fear of potential rejection is often enough to stop a lot of us from ever even getting started. In his book, Rejection Proof, Jia Zhang mentions that every rejection has a number, after which the person getting rejected will ultimately succeed. However, the amount of no's that we're willing to push through to get to that yes is directly correlated with how passionate we are about our goal. I want you to take a second and imagine that there are two situations in which you need to raise money quickly. In the first scenario, you're raising money for a brand new car. But in scenario two, you're raising money for a family member's life-saving surgery. Think about how your mentality, your efforts, and your results might differ for each situation. If you're like most of us, even though a new car is exciting, you'll put a lot more effort in when there is a life on the line. I use that example to illustrate that when our goals have purpose, fear fades into the background. So if you're creating a YouTube channel for the purpose of making a little extra money on the side, that may not be a strong enough reason to push you through the early months when each of your videos is averaging less than 10 views. But if you're creating a YouTube channel to inspire the next generation of children to change the world, a single comment, a single like, even a single view on a video could provide you with enough encouragement to keep creating content for years. The fourth and final step in becoming a rock star is to persevere. Most of us aren't going to get things right on the first try. You're going to post things on social media that don't get much engagement. You're going to create a website that doesn't get much traffic at first. In the early days of my company, Grapevine, we went through periods of time where we averaged just one user per day. And guess who that user was? But we persevered. It's extremely difficult to guess what's going to resonate with your audience, which means that it's even more important to continue creating in an authentic way until something sticks. So whether your major is creative, technical, or something in between, continue to hone your craft so that when the time comes, you can create a masterpiece that could come from nobody but you. At a time when more and more people are refusing to separate their passions from their purpose, we can look to creative careers with technical foundations to bring us the fulfillment that we're looking for. If you want to have it all, that is okay. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to choose between your passion and your purpose. I'm here to tell you that you can be a rock star. Thank you.